Okay, hi guys. So I am so excited tonight. We have Joey Alcala and Stacey Alcala on our Zoom tonight. Hi guys. We are so happy that you guys are here. So I'm gonna let them kind of take it away with their story. Just give us a little bit of background on obviously you guys, because I got some new girls on here and they have never seen you guys before because they joined like today or yesterday. So go ahead and just take a few minutes and just introduce you guys.
First of all, we want to say what an honor it is to be on here with some of our favorite people in the world, some of the most incredible leaders in the business. So if you just joined, you joined on an amazing team that if you do what these guys say and you put the work in and to have the faith that they have, you're going to be successful. So good job. But just thanks for having us. We're honored that we can be on here tonight.
Yeah, we're pumped to be here. So super excited to be here. Way to go. Way to be on. If you know anything about this business, there's always this little extra fire that happens at month's end. And so you're right. If you just joined, you jumped in right in the fire. Perfect. But it's going to be great to be on with you tonight, but it's also going to be great to see everything that God does in and through you while you're here, because he totally uses this as a tool. So, you want to say something else?
No, I just say we're going to jump into our story real quick, and but my challenge to you is listen on purpose. Really open your heart, and allow the Lord to speak to you. I believe that it's not by accident that Haley's
Mhm.
like, "Hey, would love for you guys to get on," and just be prepared to receive something and be challenged. And we'll just jump into our story real quick.
Okay, let's do it. I love it. So, I said a very scared yes to this business. So let me know. We already put a one in here, but Sherry Lynn asked me to do this business every day for 3 weeks in a row. And I continue to tell her no. But the thing I love about it is she saw something in me and saw something in it works I couldn't see for myself. And there are times you are going to have to borrow someone else's belief as you do this business. So started scared. I was working full time as the receptionist at my daughter's school. I couldn't be on my phone during those hours. And my girls were 6 and 8 years old. So that's the season of life we were in. And I went diamond in 3 months, figuring it out, just going for it. And so that feels wild even to say now, but it was just everything I did, I was scared to do, but I just did what she told me to do. So it was like, uh, you don't have to have it all figured out to go forward with it. I just want to let you know that, and you'll learn as you go, and you'll get better as you go. And so I went diamond in 3 months. I was making the same amount of money, uh, doing this business 2 hours a day that I was at my full time job. And that blew me away. I was like, is it going to last? Like, I mean, honestly, that's where it was. Okay. So that's where my belief was. And then fast forward 4 months after that, I went diamond. I went double diamond right after going to conference, because at conference, I remember flying to conference thinking, this is the perfect business for Sherry Lynn. She is going to crush this. And that's just how I thought about it. I was like, I'm here and I am successful. Like going diamond is successful, but it was just kind of like, I don't know if this is for me still. But something about conference, when we got in a room and it was like, wait, every kind of person. Look, I joined on a team that two of the people had been on The Bachelor in the season. So I just thought you like either had to be like famous or like perfect. And I'm like, I'm neither of those. So we'll see where this goes, right? But then I got to conference. I was like, if you're willing to just show up and learn and grow and to continue to step outside your comfort zone, there could be something here. And I just remember coming back from that. So I went double diamond right after that, which was crazy. Still working full time, still running my girls around. I ran Joey in full time ministry. So our schedules were nuts. But I learned how to work in the nooks and crannies of my life because it was important. Um, and then from there, I just had a big leadership step up. I had to learn, to be honest. So if there's anybody kind of hanging out at that diamond, double diamond level, and you're kind of like, I don't know my voice, but I know I can do this, but I don't really know where I fit. That was a lot of time I had to spend going, my voice is important and my presence is important. I'm like, Sherry Lynn is such a strong leader. I could have just I did at first kind of just let her go because I'm like, what else do I need to say? She said it all, but the people joining me needed to hear my voice. And I think it's just important that you need to know the people who are joining you. You know, they might hear Allison's voice or Adriana's voice or Haley's voice. You have incredible leaders here, but they joined with you and they want to hear your voice leading them as well. So trust their instinct to join you. But I had to learn to go, and I went triple diamond a year later, right after conference. And kind of this momentum went with that. I went presidential diamond 4 months after that. Just my team was all in, running with a lot of things. And presidential diamond's a whole story in itself. We'll just leave it. Sometimes months you think everything's telling you to close a door, but there's just something inside you that says keep going. And there will be months like that. And sometimes every door will close as you continue to push in, but you'll become better because of it. And that's what I was talking about at the very beginning when I said, can't wait to see all God does in and through you, because who you become through this process is honestly the best gift I could ever have. And so then we took a long haul to go Ambassador Diamond. Okay, I was gonna say. So if anybody's been around for a minute, and it happens. I had people I thought they were like my best people, and they're gonna rock this with me, and they decided this isn't for me anymore. I'm like, wait, I am brokenhearted. Wait a second, where are you going? But having to learn to focus on the people who did want it and run with the people who did want to go there. And so there was ups and downs and growth. The people who I went to diamond with weren't the people that I went to triple diamond with. And the people I went to triple diamond with, only one of them is who I went ambassador diamond with. And so it's just kind of important to know those things. There's always ups and downs and challenges, but for every season that you're in, I believe that the Lord is sending someone else in a season that needs you where you are. And it's pretty cool to hear. Like if I could go back, I could spend hours here telling you different stories of different people in the different seasons and what it did for them and what it did for me and how it shifted and all those things. But yeah, that's it.
From my side, I saw her do things scared, and it got her to a certain level. And then I saw her have to step up in her leadership, and it got her to a certain level. And then I had to see her be consistent, and that's what really got her to ambassador. And so, man, it's been an awesome journey from, just joining to top of the company and now working on the corporate side with you guys to say, hey, let's win together. It's been awesome.
It literally feels like you guys are like also our leaders, which we love and we appreciate you guys. And obviously you guys are awesome. And I appreciate you being so vulnerable too, Stacey, with your story and like how obviously like not everything was really easy and like always like up and up. Because I think when you're new and you join a business, you kind of just expect it to just take off. And every day it just gets better than the next. But sometimes it doesn't. Like sometimes you don't enroll. Sometimes you obviously like, lose rank, or sometimes you don't hit that bonus that you thought you were going to do. So I kind of wanted you guys to talk a little bit because you already mentioned like kind of the ups and downs, Stacey. When you started the business, obviously you had to be nervous. You talked about that. You were scared, right? I was too. I had my family calling me and being like, this is a scam. You need to quit. Like you're going to lose all your money. I literally had someone also calling me and telling me to take my posts down because I was embarrassing them. Like, I feel like I kind of got a good range of things, and I know that other girls do too. And so, what kept you here in the beginning, even when you didn't see the vision God had for you? You didn't know you were going to be ambassador when you joined. Like, you all didn't know you were going to be at corporate. Like, none of that. You didn't even know you were going to be diamond. Like, you said that. So, it's like, in 3 months, like, who knew that God had that for you, right? So, like, what made you want to stay when you didn't really see all the success in your first month, in your first week? Like, what made you want to stick around?
I think, honestly, when I started, Sherry Lynn was like, let's try this for 3 months and see if you're making any money at all. so,
Oh, wow.
there was a 3 month that grew into if in a year we're not making money, we'll quit. Like, what's the risk? But let's do it. And so there was a determination. Quitting was taken off the table before really started. But in that, I really had to have selective hearing. Because like you said, Haley, there's noise, right? There were people that really meant a lot to me that were like, what the heck are you doing? Like, and then it was like, how can a pastor's wife post before and after belly shots on her Facebook? And like, just all kinds of different things. But then there were other people that were like, go for it. That's who I chose to stay close to, because it's hard with all the noise. And so I would say that was part of it. Quitting was taken off the table. I'm like, I need to really try if I'm going to do this, right? Not a half try. Go.
And at that point, it just became obedience, right? We said, okay, for this next year, we're going to go all in. And me and Stacey's vision is to add value wherever we go. Like, I want people to say, I am better because I hung out with them. They encouraged me, they challenged me, they love me. And whether you're doing that for someone for a week or for the rest of their life, our goal in the kingdom is to add value. And so once we said we're going to do it for a year, we went all in and said we're going to add value. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. And I think you got to understand it's got to be obedience over outcome. I think we put too much stock on the outcome, like the outcome. But your job is to be obedient. God's job is the outcome and the results. And if you really believe that, you're not going to be turned up and upside down with the emotion of it. Because, we can get so emotional. People are emotional.
Yeah.
There's a great book, Emotional Intelligence 2.0. If that's something you struggle with, read it. But once we made that decision, and it was a game changer for us.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so good. And honestly, I feel like that's a huge thing too, is I think we expect to see those results. And then when we don't get it, it's like, oh, then this isn't for me then. But at the end
Mhm.
of the day, God never called us because it was going to be easy, right?
Yep.
And we know that. And so I'm also kind of going to go into this with the next question, but I want to talk about the girls who've been in this for months or maybe even years. Let's even just go that far. Maybe not months. Maybe we've got obviously girls on our team that have been in this for years, but they're having trouble keeping distributors, making leaders, growing leaders, period. Or maybe they did grow leaders, or like you said, Stacey, like then they're like, okay, I'm not going this round. Like, I'm not going with you to triple. I'm not going with you to ambassador. I don't think this is for me anymore. And I know that because I remember when I was talking to you guys at lunch, I opened up about how when I lost all those leaders and how it felt like I started fresh and how hard that was. So I know it's not easy. And growing leadership isn't easy. It really isn't. So do you guys kind of want to talk a little bit into that for maybe some girls on this Zoom that are having trouble with that?
Absolutely. This is a relationship business, and really any business is about relationship. If you looked at yourself and said, okay, if am I going to follow a leader that only connects with me when they need something? No, because that's selfish. It's like they know you're only using me because you want to get something out of me. When we flip that on the head and we say, how can I serve you?
Mm,
That's a game changer. I think a lot of times as leaders, we're like, how can I use you? And we're not saying this out loud because we're not mean like that, but it's like, how can I use you to get what I want? As opposed to how can I steward you and serve you because that's what the Lord has asked us to do. It changes everything. And when you serve people like that, they're gonna want to stick around and be a part because they know that you love them and that you want to be a part of their life. And I feel like that's something that's really important, especially in today's economy. Man, that relationship pays dividend because they know, oh, Allison's just not trying to get me to join her team because she needs something. Allison's awesome. She's there for me, emotionally, spiritually. She's going to help me grow. She's going to challenge me, and I'm picking on her because she does that. And that's if all of us can say that, man, we're going to continue to move forward. You're still going to have drop off. You're still going to have people that this isn't a good fit, but that's their choice, not yours. And I think that's something that we need to keep in the forefront.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think sometimes we think, oh, the joining is the uncomfortable thing I did, and we rest kind of on what we did yesterday. And there in leadership, it's a continual choice to grow and be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's where you're going to feel the most success. And so I'll say it again, because I really think there's probably people on here that don't think their voice matters.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Voice matters.
Mm.
Your presence matters. So it's okay for, if you're on and you want your girls on, I would challenge you, have your screen on. Let them see your face. Let them see you taking in what's going on. Let them see you show up on the hard days and the easy days, right? Because consistency is tough. But
Mm.
like it just is like there's nothing inside of us really that wants to be consistent. We just want comfort. That's the thing we consistently want, right? Naturally. And so there is a place in this business that does call you higher in yourself, and you have to choose that to continue to grow. And you know what? You can take some time and be like, I didn't really choose it, and nothing really changes. And that happens. And that's also, I think, the beauty of this business, because you can decide, oh, today I'm drawing a line in the sand, and I'm going to continue to choose it. So I am going to show up on the Zoom. I mean, I've heard stories even of, I can remember when I started power hours. I was the first one to start them for our whole organization. I would get on with like 3 girls. I'm like, I don't know really what I'm doing right now as a presidential diamond, because we didn't have power hours kind of all before that. Just so you know, when we did this business, we were just trying to figure it out as we go. So we're still sending messages, but not coming together in a community that's powerful to be plugged into. But just showing up with 3 people on and going, okay, but I'm going to show up again, you know. And I mean, I've heard leaders in this company right now, strong leaders with super strong teams, and they're like, I was getting on and no one was getting on with me. And I chose to still get on, because I knew something was growing in me. And when the people showed up that were supposed to be with me, I was already going to have that consistency inside of me. And so I think consistency and showing up is a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
And building the culture that you want, you can control that, right? You can control the culture of your team. And it's not your job to keep people. It's to lead them in a way that they don't want to go. And for us to understand that if you create a place that's safe and that people are seen and that people are stretched, you're gonna be heading in the right direction. You don't grow leaders by controlling them. You grow them by believing in them. And I think what we got to understand is, do I really believe in my team? It's gonna really put you in a good spot.
Yeah.
And let's get practical for a second. What does that mean? Like, to use my voice maybe, or to show up, or to lead from the middle, right? Sometimes we wait. We're like, oh, well, when I'm diamond, I'm going to lead. Or when I'm triple diamond, that's when I'll start to lead. Or when, you know what I mean? But I'm just going to tell you something. You're going to be that person before your E-suite catches up to it. That's going to be one of the key things you're going to do. And it's going to be awesome. Like, you're like, okay, I was already here already. And finally the E-suite caught up, right? But what does that look like? It looks like, hey, I was on the Zoom this morning. I loved when Haley said, let's go do that. Or that's how you use your voice and lead from the middle. You're still respecting the leadership, right? Because it's good to have that, in a sense, covering is what I want to say, or like that direction to go, but you use your voice in supporting where the leader wants to go. That is going to be powerful for you too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually thought of something while you guys were talking. I remember very vividly when I got into this business. It was a leader. I was on like another team Zoom. I was like in all the Zooms. I was like, get me on the Zooms. I just want to be there. I didn't care what I had to do. I just wanted to show up. And I remember someone said on a Zoom, leader that I looked up to, she was like, you need to show up as the distributor you want on your team. If you want a distributor that shows up, you need to show up. If you want a distributor that enrolls, you need to work to enroll. Like all of those things, I didn't realize, I think at the time, like that was what I was gonna obviously have. But it's so true. Like even if there's just 2 or 3 people on, like even just like the discipline to just start being a leader and knowing that it's not going to be perfect. Like I feel like that's a huge thing of like, that's what kept me too. Like I was like, I can't host a Zoom because it's not going to be good. I don't know how to host a Zoom. Like I don't know what I'm doing. But it's like once I did it and did the trial run, it ended up being not nearly as bad as what I thought it was, you know? And it's better to start with like a small group. Like I'd rather start with like 2 than like 200. You know what I mean? So that was so good, guys. Thank you so much for talking about that. And I know that obviously, like you said, you're in the corporate side now, but you guys were both leaders in your own way, for a really long time. So what was like the best like non-negotiable you have for us that you're like, this is probably one of the most important things I learned that I wanted to stay consistent with as a leader? Like what was that non-negotiable for you guys? If you had one, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say for me, I needed my time with Jesus.
Yeah.
Everything else is going to fall apart. Because here's the thing, your seasons of life are going to change as you're in here. He's the one thing that's constant. So, right, like kids, they change what they were doing. Like, I'm in a kid. I don't know if there's any moms on here. If there are, drop a 3 in the chat. We're here together. But maybe you don't have them yet, and that's going to shift your world in a whole different way. Or maybe you're not married yet, and then having a spouse is going to like shift it in a whole different way. It's going to constantly change. So I would say one, and it didn't have to, it's not that it had to be like the super long, but I'm like, oh, okay. If I don't start with him filling my cup and him telling me who I am before I go try to achieve a bunch of things that I want them to tell me who I am, because that's where I'll get all off, then we're in a bad mess, right? Then it's like when the enrollment doesn't happen, when my kids don't listen, when the husband doesn't, then it's all a reflection of my identity, which is not who I am. I am who he says I am. And so working from that place of abundance that's already there, that's going to be a key for you to have. And then from there, what I had to do as a leader was put in my work and then be available for my team. So I would say that the book Miracle Morning changed my whole world and my leadership and my consistency with that.
Absolutely. And I would say consistent presence, like show up, be on the Zoom, be at as many in-persons as possible. Like put the investment down. Well, Joe, you don't understand. Like it's going to be hard for me. There's never an event that we went to that we sacrificed finance that we didn't come away better. And that's a local thing. It's a corporate thing. It's I'm going to be on the Zoom. I'm going to listen to Monday Motivation. I'm going to be on Winning Wednesday, whether it's a replay or whether it's the thing, you showing up and being close to that fire and being consistent changed our life and really kept us moving forward in times when it was pretty tough and things weren't easy. And I do feel like that consistency of time with Jesus was important, that leadership development. What are you constantly listening to, hearing? Is it all for entertainment? Is some of it for personal growth? Have a good mixture. Like we can binge Netflix like the best of them, but we also make sure that we're getting our personal development in. Who are we listening to? Our leadership development is important. And so making sure that's important, your health. And I would say, having a good balance of giving back your time to the Lord, like having some time where you're refreshing. So then when you go into that work mode, you're working with intention. And I think sometimes we blame the business on our not being disciplined, right? Like, well, I'm just working all the time. No, you're just undisciplined. And it's okay. Like reality, there's been times when Joey is undisciplined and I can't blame it on anyone else but me. But the cool thing about it, Joey can change that. And so I need to make sure that I'm disciplined. When it's work time, it's work time. When it's family time, it's family time. When it's jujitsu time, it's jujitsu time. When it's hot tub time, it's going to be hot tub time. When it's pickleball time, and you get what I'm saying, but be disciplined and then you can give all of yourself.
Yeah, because I think what I would hate for anybody to get off here and go, I just got to show up to everything and be on all day for this to be successful. No, that's not all we're saying. Joey always talks about that work expands to the time allotted. So you could probably do the same thing in 30 minutes that you might be spending 2 hours doing, if you've learned to grow in that too. So I just want to throw that out there.
That was so good. And I just really feel this is not a question I had prepared, but I really have it on my heart and I just feel like I have to ask. And I know if you guys want to take a minute to think about what you want to say, because I didn't prep for you guys for this and it just came into me as you guys were talking. What about the girl on the Zoom that feels like they can't go back to the feet of Jesus right now? And they don't feel like they can go to him and ask for help for the business. Like they just feel like that distance. What would be maybe something that you guys would say if there's a girl that needs to hear that on the Zoom tonight?
I would say you're in the perfect position to go to the foot of Jesus. Like if you feel that way, dude, you're in the right spot. Because the cool thing about the grace of God and his love for us is that he loves broken people. He loves imperfect people. He doesn't expect us to be perfect or to be whole. He expects us to come run to him and say, God, I am messed up. I am having a hard time. I'm going through this. I feel like that. And guess what? He's a big enough God that he can handle all of our crap. He can handle all of our stuff. And he heals us and he loves us. And he doesn't just repair the broken. He makes it all new. So if you feel like that, man, run to him with all your might. And like the prodigal, he will embrace you and be like, I love you. I'm so glad you're here. Let's celebrate your home. He's not going to judge you. He's going to say, hey, you came at the right time. I
Mm.
love you. Let's do this together.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say if you're thinking that, it's time to bind and rebuke the enemy in your head, because that is not the God we serve or his character, right? So
Yeah.
he cares about you and being with you. And that'd be like telling me, I don't want to know if my daughter busted her knee open. I'm like, no, I want to be right there with her to go through the process for it to heal. Like, there's just, that is him. And he's not surprised. He's
Mm.
not overwhelmed. He's not worried. Like, oh no, that was bad. He, he's not. And it takes a moment for
Mm.
him. It takes a moment. What was maybe 1,000 steps away is only one step back, because he'll make up the difference. He'll make up that distance.
Yeah, because the enemy wants you to think you're too far gone. You're not too far gone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The enemy's like, oh, you messed up. No, you can't mess up too much. The only way you mess up is if you don't come to him, because he's been standing at the door and knocking. He's like, man, I'm here. I can make it all better. All you got to do is open the door. And if you open the door, your life will be changed forever. Not easy, not perfect. It's actually you're signing up for a harder job when
Mm.
you say, I want to follow him. Broad is the path of the world, but narrow is the gate. It's not easy, but man, it's worth it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, guys. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I did not know where that was gonna go, but that just literally left me so full of
Us,
thoughts.
us
So
either.
thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys are the best. So if you could leave us with a tip of what we should be doing more to kind of prepare for us to go into July. I know that there's a lot coming in July. Um, and obviously, like we're excited to just keep building, but I just thought this morning when I was like writing out the questions, and this was the one that came to my mind. I'm like, we are already halfway through the year. And
Yeah.
there's probably some girls on here that have been in here longer than just this year. And maybe they're not happy with the way that their business has gone. And they're
Yep.
like, I would like to make some changes. I would like to do things differently because I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. Like, I
Yep.
want to do things differently come July. What can I do differently that's going to really benefit me for this latter half of the year? What would that be, that tip from you guys?
I'm going to get super practical. Then I'll let Stace really take it. But number one, clarify the win. Clarify the goal. What is your goal? And reverse engineer that. To hit this goal, I'm going to have to do what today? And if you have a hard time with that, just ask one of your leaders. They can help you. Like, my goal is to go emerald. Okay, cool. Now, this is what you're going to need to hit that goal. And so set a date, write the goal down. That's so important, or you're never going to hit it. And then set the tone for your team. Set the tone for your team. People don't follow hype, they follow hope. And so you're setting that tone right off the bat and saying, okay, here's my goal. I'm putting it out there. What's your goal? This is what we need to do to get there. A lot of people fail because they just don't set a goal and they don't know what it takes to get there. And so I think it's really important going into July to really set that goal, set the tone for your team.
Yeah. I mean, to add to that, your target will organize you. So if you don't have a target, you might just be working to work, and that is never good. It's just not going to be fun. Like it's just not going to be fulfilling. There's so many things that are not good about that. So I would go, hey, what is my target? So I'm not working to work, and give yourself those goals to win. So you may need to define what winning is, and you may need to redefine it. Okay. Analogy, not to be shocker, but if you didn't know, I had a heart attack at 29 years old. I was athletic. I was all these things. Okay. After that, I had to leave with an outside, what are those things called? I blanked on it.
Defibrillator.
An outside defibrillator. I had to go through rehab. To graduate rehab from my heart attack, I had to go on an elliptical for 3 minutes. That was it. Do you know how hard that was to do? So just saying, now I'm fine. Now I can go run a mile. Now I mean, I'm better than I was then, right? So I'm like, but if you are somewhere, start where you are and define those next goals. You're not a winner to be back to where you were or to be further than where you started. Right now, there are winning goals that you can have this second, right? My first goal was 10 seconds on this fan thing. And the 90-year-old man who I was in rehab with was crushing it. And I'm like, I can't take this. I can barely breathe trying to do this. And I'm just looking, I'm in there with all 70, 80, 90-year-old people and me at 29. But I got my goal. And then I was able, when I came back next day, to hit the next goal and to hit the next goal. So start your goals with where you are, not where you were. Okay. That's for some of you. Some of you just need to start. Some of you just need to start. Okay. Because the world is yours. So just go for it. Start running, because the momentum you have now will set you up for July. Don't wait for July's momentum to happen. Do the work now, right? It's easy to keep momentum. Sometimes it's hard to create it. So you got to just decide, I'm creating momentum today. Lord, how do I create momentum today? Lord, what are the steps I'm going to take to do? How am I offering hope? Because people do follow hope, not hype, especially right now in the world. Everybody's done with some hype. They want to know what truth is and where they're going and what you're doing. So that's why it's important to have that goal, because people don't follow a parked car. They follow a car that's going somewhere. So you need to be clear about where you're going. And if it's $100 right now, awesome. Be loud about it. Go get $100 before this month's over, to set you up for July. Because as you begin to win, guess what? People want to be on winning teams. So it's important that you define what winning is. And then it's important that you go win. So that, and you be loud about it. So then people are like, oh yeah, I'm coming with her. I want to go with them. I'm going with that team. They got hope and they're making it happen.
Yeah, don't underestimate the power of a small win. People may not believe they can be an ambassador diamond, but when you say I paid all of my gas and my groceries this week on $200 bonus, they can believe that. And that's realistic. So you don't have to wait till you're, at certain rank. Well, I'm making this. No. What did you do? Did you sign somebody? Did you add value to someone's life? Brag about that. The momentum will carry you forward. I love that. Start where you're at. And be who be now who you want to become. Don't wait. So you want to be an ambassador, put the work in that it takes to be an ambassador. If you don't know that, talk to an ambassador, talk to one of your leaders. This is what you need to do. And you got this.
Yeah. So like practically, what do we need to do? One biggest thing you need to do in your business is get in conversations. So if the actions you're taking are not helping you get in conversations, reach out to someone. One, are you taking the actions? Or are you making up your own actions? Sometimes it happens. Hey, guilty. I'll be like, oh, maybe I want to try this. I'll be like, I would back down some of my action because I was scared to put myself out there. So that might be where you are. But if your actions, right? If you're making the reel and putting up there, but you're not getting in conversations, then I would go, hey, I'm putting it up there. Do you have advice for how to switch this? If it's like, well, Stacey, I still haven't put up my reel. They told me to 2 weeks ago. Okay, go put up the reel, right? Go get it out there. If it's invite the person to join you so you can get in a conversation, good. Right now, what I would be doing is trying to get in as many conversations to close out June with some wins that I still have tons of follow-up to keep my funnel full. That was my biggest job all throughout this business, was keeping my funnel full. What do I mean by that? I mean, that is my people I'm following up with. These are the conversations, and your funnel might feel little right now compared to someone else. That's okay. Just keep filling it. You're going to, at some point, who you know runs out. It might be the day you started. It might be 3 months in, it might be a year later, but at some point, the person who's willing to stick in and find new people to get in conversation with, that's where you're going to win. And so I would say, stick through it, figure it out. If you are getting in conversations, you're doing the right thing. But the biggest goal is to get in those conversations so you have the people to follow up with.
So good. So good, guys. Thank you so much. And I just want to end with just one last question. I kind of want to speak into like discouragement to end this. Because I think that there are different forms of discouragement through different seasons. And I think drop a one if you've been discouraged at all throughout this month. One thing happened, maybe someone told you no, maybe like, yeah, let me just drop a one because like, yeah, for sure. I've been discouraged multiple times already this month. Like kind of like what you were saying, Joey, like I feel like feelings kind of like can take over and make us feel like it's the end of the world or we're too far. Like, let's just talk about goals. Like, I'm way too far from my goal. Like X, Y, and Z has happened. I don't have enough time. Like after tonight's over, I got 4 days left. Like this is not how far I thought I'd be. Or like, could you guys kind of just like, if you want to share a story, you can do that. Um, but maybe also just like kind of speaking encouragement into like the God that we serve and how he does come through with faith and consistent work, kind of like what you think our mindsets should be getting off this Zoom so that we aren't stuck in our feelings in how we're feeling right now.
Yeah, I feel like the business correlates with life and with our life in Christ, right? And I love Galatians 6:9. Let us not grow weary.
Yeah.
Um, if you feel weary, drop a 5 in the chat sometimes. You're like, man, I felt weary the last little bit. I know I have. Like you look around the world, you look around, I'm talking to my buddies. I just had lunch with a really big home builder friend of mine today, and he was telling me where his company's at. And I'm like, dear Lord, that's bad. But he's a believer and he had so much faith and he just gave me so much hope. And I was talking to him and we were sharing. But our goal is to not get weary because God doesn't respond to panic. He responds to faithfulness. And so if you feel worried or discouraged or you feel like, man, they're just, I'm weary. God doesn't, he doesn't respond to that. He wants to know, are we going to be faithful when we feel like it and when we don't? Are we going to keep doing what we need to do? Because you have an opportunity right now to grow yourself in the midst of it. It doesn't matter where you would work or what you're doing. Life is hard right now. And for us to pretend like it's not is to like, just put our blinders on. The economy's hard. Things are hard. But in the hard, we have an even greater advantage to be a light in a hard time. We get to be hope in a hopeless time. We get to be that peace and joy in a time of discouragement. And that's what's going to set us apart when people are like, man, how is she so faithful? And she is still doing her job and helping people grow and getting these blessings because you're faithful. Because you're faithful and you're not reacting to emotion. You're not reacting to how you feel. And I'm not saying there's not times that you need to go and cry and eat ice cream and listen to something sad for a few hours. Maybe I'm the only one that does that. Y'all are looking at me weird. I appreciate that. But then I have to get over it and say, dude, you have an opportunity to grow. That's why you're here, to lead through that. And so I think sometimes we let that discouragement override our faithfulness. And when that happens, we just go down the rabbit hole. And really, the enemy wins when that happens. And so I would say, it's okay to feel that a bit, but then you move past that and you say, I'm going to continue to be faithful and I'm going to go in 100%. Because what's worse than being, not being faithful is to be discouraged and not going in 100. If you're faithful and you go in 100, it's going to change everything.
Yeah. There's a little bit that we'll hit a little bit on the same thing. So maybe we'll hit differently, but one, I'm going to share a scripture that Kelly Brown shared in Louisiana that I was like, I actually forgot about this scripture. One, comparison is the thief of all joy. So if you're over here somewhere in your business comparing it and letting the enemy steal your joy because you're comparing to everyone else instead of just being where you are, I would take a moment and look at that. Okay. Because I can tell when I get most discouraged in my life, it's kind of when I'm falling into comparison. I'm like, oh yeah, it's such a good scripture. But then I'm going to tell you a quick story. So this might feel, I know there's people here that just joined yesterday. I don't want to scare you off. So I'm just going to prep you that this may feel like a different language for a second, okay? Some of you have been around for a minute. Here we go. I had gone presidential diamond, was crushing it. I told you I had ups and downs. In September of 2017, my group volume was 52,000, okay? Barely holding on to triple. And I thought, okay, I'm just gonna go all in. It's time to go to a new level. What happened? By December, my group volume was up to 84,000, which didn't mean my rank changed at all, but my organization grew. I was bringing in leaders, okay? And I had to hold on to this faith a little bit. By March, the end of February of 2018, my group volume was 186,000. In March, I went ambassador diamond with 263,000. Okay. So that feels crazy, right? I had people come in, maybe this is what June and July is. We want people coming in that want to go diamond. That's going to be so good. Where does that start with Ruby? So I'm just saying, let's go Ruby, guys. Like, you're not Ruby yet. That's where we want executive and right into Ruby, right? And then let's go to diamond because that's so life changing for so many people. With that, I'm going to say this: disappointment is inevitable. So in those seasons, up and down everywhere, disappointment came in many different ways. Joey told me this the other day: discouragement is a choice. So I can have disappointment, but I can choose to stay in my discouragement. So one, be careful of choosing to stay in your discouragement. I would ask, what's ordering your life if you continue to stay in discouragement? Okay. And that's okay. That happens. I'm like, oh yeah, wrong thing sitting on the throne of my heart right now. Let's get this right. Let's reorder this, Lord, but it's a choice. Last thing, the month of March, I was like, is this crazy? I remember praying, is this crazy that I'm going for ambassador this month? I know I'm at 180, but I'm like, is this just crazy? And my pastor stood on a stage and gave this message. And he was just like, hey, you have a goal to get somewhere, whether it's your marriage, whether it's your ministry. We were at like a pastor's thing, right? But he's like, this is what I tell my people: you're faithful. His message is faithful. You're faithful. You show up on Tuesday and you're faithful and nothing's different, but you're deciding, right? Tonight, we're all deciding. We're going to be faithful. Joyce said, be faithful over my feelings. We're going to be faithful. I'm coming on Tuesday. I'm going to be faithful. I'm coming on Wednesday. I'm going to be faithful. Thursday, I'm faithful again and nothing's changing, but I'm faithful. I'm faithful. I'm faithful, faithful, faithful. And on a random Friday, I show up and all of a sudden I'm fruitful. And he said, it is your job to be faithful. And it's God's job to be fruitful. That's how I went ambassador. That was the mindset I needed, right? It's like, okay, I'm just going to be faithful. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to be faithful to what the promise is, not what the facts look like right now. I'm going to go off the promise, which is truth. I'm going to be faithful, 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 faithful. And then all of a sudden, one day I show up fruitful, and that is all God. And I believe that for you. Yep. I believe that for every person on this Zoom right now, that you continue to show up and be faithful to something as crazy as selling wraps, right? I'm like, is this really what I'm doing? But it's changing people's lives. Just so crazy that this is the tool that God used, and as I continue to be faithful, lives are being changed. My life is changed in the end.
That's so good. And something that when you guys were talking that I just thought was so good is that I've been learning recently about how God obviously, yes, has a plan. And everything was, what's the word I'm looking for? Predestined. And it was pre-planned. And when you were talking about the journey to ambassador, he knew every month that you didn't hit it, or that you didn't hit presidential, or that your volume moved where it was. He already knew that. And you were talking about discouragement and nothing surprises God. And I literally just had this thought, and I just said it to Adriana yesterday. I was like, it's this or it's something better. The predestined blessing is this, what you have right here, or it's something else that he has. And if he asks you to give up this thing and stay faithful, it's because it's a test of faith that he wants us to pass. And that was something that a pastor spoke into us. We listened to a service and she goes, you were never meant to fail. You were always meant to pass the test. I think when we think test, we think anxiety, test anxiety. I don't know if I'm going to pass or fail, but that was never the design for the Father. And I just feel like when you were telling your story, like every month, it was like, he was like, all right, Stacey passed. Stacey passed. She stayed faithful. She stayed faithful. And then boom, you were fruitful. And I just feel like that is just such a beautiful testimony to show that even when you can't see the seeds that are being planted, you know, as long as they're good seeds, you will get a good harvest. Like you were talking about Galatians, I've been reading Galatians 6. When he talked about the seeds, that's the harvest you reap. I just feel like we get so discouraged when we don't see that. And we're like, dang, like, why do I keep doing this? Or why do I keep pushing when I don't see that goal? And it's like, it's a guarantee, it's a promise that you'll see the harvest. And I just feel like that was so beautiful. I just want to say that. That was so good, guys. So good. So good. I don't know if you guys have any last minute things you guys want to say, or if you just want to close us out in prayer or both.
Would love to pray for sure. I think, that faithfulness is success in the kingdom. And if you really want to look at success, it's not about the rank that you hit. It's not about your salary. It's about, am I being faithful? Am I stewarding my team well? Am I stewarding my life well? Am I being the best version of myself? If you can answer that yes, you're winning. And you should be very, very pleased with yourself that God, I'm being faithful to you and I'm going to continue because that's success in the kingdom. And that's our goal. And so restructuring that goal. But I want to pray for you guys. Babe, is there anything else you want to have? Awesome. We're just very proud of you. Adriana, love you. Allison, love you. Haley, love you. All of you guys, so thankful for you. Continue to be a light. Continue to be you. The world needs you to be you. The Lord's like, I've given you so much. Quit doubting it. If there's anybody on here that you're doubting your ability, you're doubting your personhood, that's not of the Lord. He made you perfect. Be all that God has for you to be. We're going to stand before him one day and he's going to say,